All right, so now that you are good at inserting tables and inserting clip art and changing the size of your tables and changing the size of the rows and the columns, we are now going to use those skills to do the actual assignment. So what we want to do first is open Word, and then we're going to want to change the margins to 1 inch for top, bottom, right, and left. And you learned this in our first assignment. So we go to Page Layout, Margins, and as we did last time, you can go to Custom Margins, and they are already set at 1 inch. So that's lucky for us. Okay, if you didn't want to go to Custom Margins, you could use one of these presets that is already set for 1 inch for all. So like this one is, we could use that as well. Okay, so we just want to make sure that they're all 1 inch margins. We want to change the font, and the font is on the Home tab. We learned this last time. And the font that we want is called Berlin Sans FB. And if you remember, they're all alphabetical. So we want to come down here to Berlin Sans FB. Please don't do FB Demi. Do FB. Berlin Sans FB. And we want to change the size to 12. All right. And we also want this to be bold. And if you remember, the bold is right there. It's that big fat B. All right. So now we have our formatting done. If you skipped that part, those 4 things that we just changed, when you start typing inside your table, it won't be right, and you'll wonder why it's not right. Or you'll change it in one cell, and then it won't stay, and you have to change it in every single cell. So that kind of speaks to the importance of following the instructions. Read the instructions and follow the instructions. All right, so now we're ready to put our information in here. So at the top left-hand corner, type your first name. Capitalize it, please. Don't do it all capital. Okay, and hit enter once. That's your first and last name. Now we're going to insert a table with 6 columns and 8 rows. So we'll go insert table, and you remember the columns go up and down. So this is the first one, second one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. 6 columns, and come down for your rows. Come on down here. And we have 8 rows, and you can tell by these numbers that it's kind of hard to do both at the same time, but 6 by 8, when it says 6 by 8 table at the top, you can hit click. Okay, and our table is quite small, and if you zoom this down, if you're still up on 100%, it's going to be a little bit hard to see, but if you zoom this down to 60 or 70%, you're going to be able to see this a lot better. Now, you know from our last little practice session, when you put your cursor inside the table, we get this resize box. Okay, let's grab that resize box and be careful of your margins, because if you go too big, it's going to totally give you 2 pages and not fit. So we'll undo and grab your resize box. Stay within your margins, but try to make it as big as you can and stay on that page. And that looks like about right. And now all the cells are the same size. So we did this all as our practice, so that's why I'm kind of going a little bit fast through there. All right. So now we have our table. We want to we resized it. We want to now skip the first box and then add in these next boxes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So click over in the box you want it in, capitalize it, and type in Monday. Capitalize and type in Tuesday. We do need to spell that right. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So you'll type all those in. Please spell them correctly. They do need to be capitalized, but not the entire word be capitalized. All right. Now, in the boxes under Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're going to type blue. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay. And in the boxes under Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to type gold. So this relates to which colored day of the week it is. We would then go back and make another one of these with all those switched for the weeks where you have a gold day on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. All right. Now, let's continue. Here in the first column, we left this all empty because we're going to put the names of your classes here. All right. So we're going to come down here to the third column. Sorry, the first column, the third row, and we're going to type in your classes that you have, and I would type them in order, but I don't know what order you have them, so you can do them in whatever order you actually have them. I'm going to put English, Science, and let's capitalize those. Let's spell them correctly. Math. You obviously have a computers class, and you have another related arts class. You might have music, you might have PE, okay, and also English, or you might have also some other class. We're going to leave this last one empty in case you have another class or something else that you want to add there. Well, we won't need to add lunch, or we won't need to add recess, but you might have some other activity that you do during the day, so we'll just leave that one empty there for you, so you can have another row there. All right, next we're going to make the top 2 rows shorter than the other rows so that we don't waste space, because this is all that's going to go in these columns right here. So as you remember, we're going to grab this line right here at the bottom of row 1, hold it, and take it up as far as it'll go, and do the same thing for row 2. Make it as short as you can. There we go. So after having done that, we can actually pull this down a little bit further to give us just a little bit more room. We are going to write your homework assignment in each one of these boxes, so you need enough room to be able to write that in there. All right? So then next, if you click at the end of the word, end of English, or the end of the subject, and hit enter, your cursor will go down underneath that subject name. Okay? After you do that, we want to insert a clip art that relates to that subject. And we want to do that in each one of these. So put your cursor at the end of the subject, hit enter, and then you can search for any clip art that you like that somehow relates. So let's say we're doing math. Insert clip art, and we're going to search over here for math. And remember, photos come in lots slower than drawings or illustrations, and it usually messes up the size of the table. Let's say, I don't know, a protractor. Okay, so that came in pretty fast, but it did totally mess up our table. Remember, we always want to grab the corner of the clip art and go towards the opposite corner. Yep, and if you keep going until it does it, until you're sure it's not messing with the width of it at all. So there's our one for math. Let's say you were going to do music. You simply go back up, click at the end of the word music, hit enter, and type in music. If you get some of these are actual sound files of things. You don't want to try to insert those. Those aren't actually pictures. All right, that one really messed up our table. Don't worry about it. Just make it as small as you need to make it so that it fits. All right, so you're going to put a clip art under each subject that you have, and put a clip art that relates. If you have a final subject that you want to put down here, you can. When you're done, click on File, Save As, and you're going to put it as your last name, and you're going to name it Homework Sheet. Homework Sheet. Okay, and then you're going to save. Right? Once you're done, we can print this. Then you could go back and you can just simply switch the days of the week, the color, and keep this. You probably have this in the same order. If you don't, you can change that, and you can make one for the other weeks. Then you stick this in your locker, and when you get back to your locker on Monday after science class and you know you have a homework assignment, you can just write it in that little space right there. All right?